Hey guys, welcome back. So today we're just going to be doing a quickie video. I noticed when I was in Coldwater Mountain in Alabama that I was getting quite a bit of chain slap. So I just checked this out and it seems that my clutch has died. This seems to be quite a common failure with these parts. So since I don't run a chain guide or anything, I think that the clutch is really important, and I'm going to go ahead and replace it with a new stabilizer unit that I got as a kit, and this one cost me like $12 or something like that. And it's pretty easy to change, and it should get your derailleur back up and running in no time. This is a part number for the stabilizer unit, and despite the fact that it only says RDM786, it actually works with a few more models. So you can read those off the bottom of the screen. Okay, so in this case it's not going to matter because the mechanism is actually broken inside, but it just makes sense to turn it off. And it's a 2mm Allen, and I know I was criticized for using the multi-tool for the last video, but I do not have a 2mm Allen that is not the multi-tool, so that's what we're using. And this just removes the cover here, so it's these three little bolts. My recommendation, make sure that each one of them is loose, and then you can keep on going and getting them off. So once you get all three bolts out, you can just remove the cover. That should be just that. Oh wow, this one is seriously broken. You're going to see once we place in the new part, but this is really broken. These two are supposed to be together. And then you can just actually remove each one of these. And this back part here was supposed to come out with this. Of course it didn't because, well, it's broken. And take into account that there's a gasket that you can barely see, and it's right there. It's nice and lodged in, so I'm not going to move it at all, and that's important that it stays. So if it pops out, make sure you put it back in. Then you can actually just remove this by pulling this out. Here. Oh, see the little gasket popped out. It's okay. You notice that there's like a little protection tab. That one has to go in the bottom. So that goes inward. And then this goes like this. And then you have to make sure that this odd part here is kind of out and to the right, so that when you actually move this, it'll move this inwards, and that'll generate the pressure on these two little tabs, which is what in turn raises the tension on the clutch. So after a little bit of fidgeting, there we go, the new clutch is in. And when we're going to turn it on, you have to actually hold this metal plate while you push this up so that it doesn't pop out. There. So once the clutch is installed and you turn it on, you can actually go ahead and check the tension. And in this case, I basically want to achieve enough tension to avoid chain slap, but not so much that it's going to interfere with the shifting. And I actually think that feels about right. You're supposed to do this with a torque wrench, and the way to do it is that you insert a 4mm bit in here, and then you go counterclockwise using that bit to move it this way until you hear it click. And the guide online has how much torque you're supposed to use. I don't have a torque wrench that works counterclockwise. The ATD one that I have only measures when it's going clockwise, so we can't use it. I think that the tension is okay, but if you want to add or remove tension, you use this bolt right here, and that is a very tiny bolt. And I'm not going to change it right now, but I have actually seen a lot of people use needle nose pliers, and it works correctly. The rest of the install is basically just reverse. I reinserted the gasket that had fallen out, and now it's just a matter of placing the cover back in. And as always with small bolts, be very reasonable with the torque that you apply to tighten these. Make sure it's properly tightened only so that you get the correct seal on the gasket. And after that, you should just be able to pop this back up. There we go, the clutch is on. There we go, all done. So quick footnote here, while we look at the pieces that came out of my derailleur that completely broke. The reason I didn't grease this is because according to the internet, a couple forums, and to the guy at the bike shop, the clutch itself actually comes pre-greased inside the band, so I didn't apply any grease. So I'm just trusting the knowledge I found online, but it is worth noting that the grease was pretty visible here in this crevice, and if there's no grease there, it definitely needs it. I will clarify, it's inside this band, not on the outside. If you apply it on the outside, it's going to be a little bit of a issue for it. And I'll place a link in the description to the manual I used for this install, but the part number is right here, and I'm going to just take a picture because it doesn't look all that good in video. So if you have a different derailleur, you can look for the instructions using that manual on this site right here, which is Shimano's service site. If you ever have any issues with your Shimano derailleur and the clutch, make sure to check that. That was like a $10 fix before you go on and you splurge $60, $70 on a new derailleur. Well, I hope that was useful to you guys. I will see you for the next one, and happy riding.